Welcome back to another video, Tiger fans, and tonight I want to talk about who do we think our biggest improver for 2025 is going to be. Now, look, I know it's very exciting with all these shiny new toys that we've got in the 2024 draft, but realistically, they're going to take a couple of years to get to where they need to be. And while it's going to be super exciting watching them develop and grow and play some senior footy in 2025, I think it's important for us as a football club and supporters to see some other improvement and growth from the players who have been in the system just that little bit longer, who need to look to take their game to another level. Having a look now as to who our biggest improvers could be for 2025, I've got 4 candidates of my own that I would like to see some improvement from. The first one's Ryan Mansel. In 2024, he played 21 games and kicked 21 goals. And look, I think 2024 for Mansel was almost a mini breakout year for him in some ways. He did shoulder quite a bit of the small forward load for us, given a whole raft of circumstances with injury and form and things like that. So 21 goals in a year where we were pretty average is not a bad effort at all. And not only was it his ability to show that he can be dangerous around goal, it was also his ability to show his willingness to hunt, chase, and tackle the person with the ball, and even to put on pressure to the players without the ball. So he kind of got himself into a spot where, similar to Maurice Rioli Jr., where when he was nipping around at people's feet, he was actually creating quite a lot of perceived pressure, which I think is often unnoticed in a lot of games. And I think for him, for 2025, I would love to see him try and hit 30 goals as a milestone. For a return in 2025 would be huge. I also feel like he could play a bit of a role in our midfield. I've spoken a little bit about our midfield balance needs to be corrected a little bit, and I think someone like Ryan Mansel could help do that. Just with his pace, his hunt, his aggression at the ball, I just think it could be something, a bit of a missing piece to the midfield puzzle at different times, and I wouldn't mind seeing that happen for 2025. So I'm looking to him to have a proper breakout year. Like I said, 2024 was a mini breakout year. I want 2025 to be a big breakout year. And look, we can only go by the training reports and videos that we see, but from everything you read, see, and hear from the club and from people who are onlookers, he's been doing exceptionally well so far on the training track and really impressing. So hopefully that translates to a big year for Ryan Mansel. Second on my list of players I want to see have a big improvement for 2025 is Kane McCarthy. And I'm all on board with you, EJ. I know he's your man. I'm not trying to steal him from you, so don't get dirty at me. But no, I really want to see him go to another level next year. In 2024, he had 9 games, averaged 11.44 disposals, no goals. And look, he probably didn't play as many games as he would have liked last year in a starting role. Given all the injury circumstances, I was probably a little bit surprised he didn't. I think he might have picked up a few injuries of his own that meant he was kind of in and out. I know he was sub a little bit as well, which does impact those numbers. And you can't deny Kane McCarthy has come back to the club for the 2025 pre-season in unbelievable condition. Highly documented the size of his biceps from the pictures on the training track. He's looking unbelievably fit. And the one thing I noticed in a lot of the drills we've been doing from transitional football, from defense to offense, is whenever the ball's turned over, he's really getting on his bike and he's running to 2 positions ahead, or 2 possessions ahead, should I say, to get himself in a more attacking area to deliver inside 50 or kick the goal himself. So I would love to see him play at least 16 to 18 games this year. And look, I'm not sure whether he'll be able to cement a midfield spot early days, but I would love to think that by the midway point of the season, I'd love to think he's a best 22 lock, and in particular, a starting midfielder lock. And I know we've still got players like Prestia and Taranto and Hopper, so it's going to take something special to dislodge one of them from a starting spot. So maybe I'm sort of aiming a little bit too high. But I think that the rise of Kane McCarthy, if he can kind of do it inside and out, would be a very, very good progression point for our midfield, which I think is much needed, especially with all these other draftees in as well, who are going to complement him in the future, hopefully. I'll be looking for Kane McCarthy to have a big 2025. So I'm with you, EJ. EJ's claimed him from the start, and so we'll be keeping a very close eye on Kane McCarthy next year. Tom Brown is up next as my third player. In 2024, he played 18 games, kicked 4 goals. He slotted into the defensive role really, really well. He showed really good poise, really good skill with the ball. As we all know, his kicking is a massive weapon. And he obviously moved forward later on in the year too, which actually worked to reasonably good effect. kicking laser-like passes to the forwards inside 50. And I know that move maybe troubled or caused a little bit of conflicting thoughts between supporters. Is he a defender? Is he better up forward? It's like the same conversation we have with Noah Bolter. At the moment, I truthfully don't know the answer that I would land with, because I think if we can find a new defensive unit that's holding its own, which was probably one of the strongest parts of our ground, I actually wouldn't mind him playing as like a wing half forward player, using that 60-metre kick to sort of get it deeper inside 50 for us and hit up our forwards on leads, or even potentially do a little bit of the Jaden Shorts and wrap around players who have taken a Mark 70 out and kick some long bombs from 60. He's got the skill set to do it. And what I'm looking for from him in 2025 is I really want him to look and feel like he belongs at AFL level, out there in the best 22 week in, week out. And I think he was really getting towards that point by the end of the year. The problem was that we were playing that bad collectively as a team that you just couldn't do much with it. So I'm thinking he's going to break. I mean, he can break games apart, and I'm thinking he's going to take these games to a next level next year. I want to see him become a little bit more dangerous and a bit more daring with his kicks, kind of like what Jaden Short was like in his earlier days when he was using his kick as a genuine weapon. Tom Brown is very, very similar in that sense. So, like I said, I don't know whether he's going to play forward or back, but what I do know is he's a super talented player, and I'm looking forward to seeing him play, hopefully, a full 22, 23 games and really take his game to the next level. The final one on my list is Caleb Smith. In 2024, he played 4 games, kicked 1 goal. Now, this one is probably a little bit more speculative on my part, but I just have this weird gut feeling that he's going to step up into a role and really do well at it, and that's the halfback running role. So from what I've been reading and seeing of Caleb, he's really setting himself up and eyeing off that halfback running role that Dan Rioli has now vacated. I know we've only seen a very small sample size of him at AFL level, but he does show plenty of pace, can take intercept marks, and the beauty is that in his draft year, he was actually most noticed as being a dashing, rebounding halfback player. So he's already got the knowledge and the skill set, and he's familiar with that role. And I just kind of keep hearing whispers around the traps that he's really setting himself to take this role on. Now, there's going to be a few competitors for that spot, make no mistake about it. But if Caleb Smith can emerge into this role, take it with both hands, and make it into his own, it could really change the whole dynamic of our backline. And a player like Caleb Smith doing that will actually then allow Tom Brown to become more dangerous elsewhere. And then you've got Trezise, who would be another one fighting for that similar spot, who maybe finds himself on a wing or half forwards. I don't know. The options are endless, but Caleb Smith is my last one who I would love to see make a big improvement for 2025. It's just one of those ones where I've got a weird feeling that I just can't shake. I just think he's got something in him. So they're my 4. Keen to hear from everyone else in the comments below. Who do you think is going to be our biggest improver for 2025? Let us know, and hopefully they all come to life.